Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Women in Music. We're having a lot of fun there backstage already, so a few little technical issues tonight, so hopefully you can all hear me out there. I am just going to throw up a couple of banners so we can talk about some of the ladies that we have on this evening. We have Michelle from On the Couch Out Loud, The Couch Out Loud. You're probably wondering, what's that all about? Well, you're going to have to tune in tonight to have a little listen. We also have Tarita Botsman. She is from the director of the Seven Sopranos, so really looking forward to talking to her this evening. She's from the operatic world, of course. And the beautiful Jules, she is in our PR world, and she teaches people how to handle their own PR, which is going to be a really interesting conversation, a nice cross-section between some of the ladies we have tonight. And of course, Jamie Lee Wilson, a blast from my past, and I'm so pleased to have her on the show tonight. What a thrill. I hope that the internet connection is not so bad out there for you tonight. If we do drop out and back in, I apologise. And we're just going to bring all the ladies in right now to say hello to you. Hi, ladies. So good to see you all. So good to have you on. Thank you very, very much. And I just wanted to ask you ladies to just quickly introduce yourselves. And I'm having a few technical issues this end, which I'm sure you all are out there too. So I just muted a few mics, and I'll kick it off and lead the way. I'm Jodie-Joy. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a singer, songwriter, and entertainer. And I love all things music, women, business, and fun. And not to mention a few little cheeky wines on the side. So I wanted to share with you a platform here during the COVID for other women in music like myself, and let you know what they're up to, what they're doing, what they're creating, but also how we can all connect during COVID, come together, support one another from all realms, whether that be you're a crew member, whether that be you're an artist, or you're behind the scenes doing the marketing. We're all connected in some way, and it's so interesting to know what people are doing out there in the industry, in the arts and entertainment especially. We have been hit really, really hard, and it's time for us all to step forward, band together, and support one another. So I do hope that you all and you audience out there find some connection on the platform tonight of Women in Music. Do please follow our panel, ask some questions, share this, start a watch party. Hey, we don't care. We just want you to enjoy tonight, and let's kick it off with talking to one of the other artists we have on the show, who's going to be featuring some of her live music tonight, the beautiful Jamie Lee Wilson. There she is, and I've got to unmute her. How are you, Jamie?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Please tell everyone where you've been, what you've been up to.
Okay, so I was born and bred here in Australia on the Gold Coast, and I'm actually up on the Sunshine Coast at the moment. But I've been based in Los Angeles for the last few years, and I was forced to come back due to COVID just to be closer to family. So I've been back for the last couple of months. And yeah, I work in electronic music. I collaborate with different DJs and producers and record labels. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Wow. And I see that you have really advanced your career. I mean, from when we were talking so many years ago, you've really kicked things along beautifully for yourself. And, you know, when I come into contact with people here on the coast, they're always like, oh, do you know Jamie Lee Wilson? You know, like, she's really kicking some goals. So yay for you. Yay for the Gold Coast. And look, I'm not sad that you're home. It's so great. It's so good, because you're probably just getting a little bit of downtime, yeah?
Oh, I actually haven't been busier. Being back, it's been great. I've actually had a chance to get some work done, and I'm missing lots of things about LA, but everyone I speak to says that it's there's just nothing happening back there at the moment, and I'm collaborating remotely with everyone anyway. So yeah,
wow,
it's really good to be back. Couldn't be in a better
I know.
place.
I'm feeling a little the same. I'm busier than ever was. And look, I want to come back to some of your music. So please, viewers, if you are listening in, stick around because you're going to hear a lot of tunes coming out of Jamie Lee tonight. We've got some of her live music videos. I should say her official music videos. So, and of course, we've got all of the ladies' information at the bottom of their screens, which I will bring up throughout the period of the show so you can find out a little bit more about them. I'm going to hand over to Jules now. Tell us all about you, Jules. How do you fit into our Women in Music panel tonight?
Oh gosh, I feel like such a ring-in compared to everyone else. Okay, so I teach people how to get PR, and I've got a business where you can go and send out media releases really easily.
So
and really
that's perfect for the independent artist to.
And obviously. Yes, and I 100% support women and women in business and women who are out there trying to promote themselves. So that's maybe how I fit in.
Which is your crossover, of course, with She Is the Boss, correct?
Absolutely. So yes, and which is it's a group that I've kind of grown. I had a TV show on Ticker TV. I've had a podcast called She's the Boss Chats, and I'm all about female founders and women who are really entrepreneurial and, you know, getting the name of women out there, basically.
Yes.
No more bullshitting and baby steps is my kind of motto.
No more bullshit and baby steps. So you've got like a template out there that artists like myself and other artists, even as advanced as, you know, what Jamie's doing, can piece that apart and make that work for themselves in any genre, any field.
Yes, so what I have actually is a bit better than a template. It's called a SaaS platform. So what it is software where you can go on, build your own media contact list, you know, of whatever musicians or industries you want to. Choose the kinds of media, TV, radio, magazines, newspapers you want to get to. And then you've got a media release template and you can send it out from the platform. You see all their names and phone numbers. You can ring them. You can send out with an email and then do your follow-up and make notes about the journalist and a whole shitload of other stuff. So it's slightly different to, so I don't leave you on your own. You basically step your way through it and it's really easy.
Oh, wow. Excellent.
And it's cheap. It's cheap as well.
Yeah.
It's $350 for 3 months. So
that's it.
You know.
Really?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you? Fantastic.
Yeah, well, that's what I would say.
I've just whacked up your information at the bottom of the screen there. So anyone wanting to know a little bit more about Jules is at Handle Your Own PR. You know,
I'm more Facebook than Instagram, just so you know. I'm pretty crap at Instagram.
Yeah, I'm crap at it all. I just, you know, just have a go. I say, have a go.
Yep, absolutely.
And look, I want to encourage anyone out there, if you do have a question for the panel after these intros, is definitely the time because, you know, these ladies, Jules is just a wealth of information. And of course, any artists and any of my students watching tonight, of course, I'm sure you've got some questions for some of the other artists that are on the panel. So, I'm going to throw now to Michelle, who is a newfound adored friend of mine doing the Couch Out Loud. She is all things Gold Coast community, and I just want to hear from you, Jules. Tell everyone about yourself. Michelle, I should say. I'm reading Jules and thinking. I'm reading Jules and looking at Michelle.
I'm easily confused, so don't do that tonight.
I was just checking to see if you're on your toes. That's all.
That's right.
So I'm here. It's all good. So I direct and produce Gold Coast's very own live talk show, as in people come to watch it. A bit tricky at the moment because, or it has been all year, I've had to postpone quite a few shows, obviously, because of the way things are. But the show is all about highlighting people in the community who are affecting societal change and empowering others with a really strong focus on the arts culture. So it's all the first two shows that I did back in 2016 were about highlighting local creatives on the Gold Coast because so many people were saying that the Gold Coast has no culture. That's so wrong. We do. And it was giving them a platform to express who they are, share their story to a live audience and basically tell us what we can do to support them, and also giving them a platform to connect with each other. So that was the premise to the show, and it's grown from there, and we talk about other subjects as well. But every show has performances and an artist on the panel and also performing, because that's my big thing about arts culture.
And that's what I love about you, Michelle, because you're out there doing it, and you're still, as we all are, struggling through COVID, but planning forward for these things and helping the local community, especially the arts. You're doing everything from DJs to artists, like actual, artists, and of course, performers as well, entertainers. So I really love what you're doing, and I can't get behind you enough. So I hope that everyone will go and check it out. The Couch Out Loud. You've got to go check this out. It's a really, really great platform that's coming through for local talent. So, and who knows, maybe one day Michelle might even let those Brisbaneites in as well, hey?
I had someone fly up from Sydney to come to a show, so I'm not at the moment, but I'm open. But at the moment, I'm really trying to utilise online platform, because I'm so not a social media person. I am rather a face-to-face person, but with what's happening at the moment, I really had no choice but to go that way. And you know what, it's been really good, because it has allowed me to focus more on marketing. Probably not doing it right, but I'm trying my best, and also doing things like this. So I started another part of the Couch Out Loud. It's called Pants Optional Human Books. So there's a story behind that one too, why it's called Pants Optional, but anyway, I'll tell you that later. So with that one, it's about highlighting, I'm only actually having human artists and musicians as human books at the moment, because I think it's really important to support them more than ever now because of what's going on. So that's a really cool one. That's podcast and on YouTube and everything as well. People want to watch.
And I love it. I love how you call it the human book. That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Really cool. And now I want to just throw across to Tarita. Of course, she's the director of the Seven Sopranos. She's an opera singer in her own right, a wonderful woman, and slightly connected to my family in some way, which we might get into a little later. An interesting story there. But Tarita, please tell everyone a little more about what you're up to and a little bit of your background.
Sure. I'm actually a former opera singer. I don't really sing anymore. I started my life off and spent about 15 years in the operatic industry, singing roles in Australia, Europe mainly. And then I had a child and kind of had to go, oh my God, how do I keep performing? I set up my own business, which was just myself and another girl doing corporate events around Australia and overseas. And that eventually evolved into a bigger business called the Seven Sopranos. But over the years, I suppose my trajectory really has been opera singer, creative director, stage director. I've also worked with all of Australia's major theatre companies as an actress. I think I've worked with every major performing arts company in Queensland and a lot of them down south. So I kind of feel like I've had 30 years experience essentially on stage, off stage, you name it, I've done it. I've sold the tickets. I've been the producer. I've done every kind of aspect of the game, and I'm currently doing my PhD in musical composition.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what I am. It's very hard to actually describe what I am, other than I'm just this crazy creative at the end of the day.
And I think that's what all women in business and music are all about. I mean, well, music is business, isn't it? At the end of the day, and it doesn't matter what genre you're in, whether it's opera, whether it's heavy metal, or whether it's EDM music.
Absolutely.
It's all
the same,
business.
Really. Yeah,
that's it.
When you get down to it.
Yeah, definitely. So that moves me to let's talking about different genres of music, and we've got a nice eclectic little group here tonight. And I know that Jules and Michelle, you are great lovers of your own styles of music as well, which I'd love to hear a little bit more about. But before we do, I know everyone's hanging by their teeth to hear Miss Jamie Lee Wilson. I just want to give you a little taste of what this young woman has been doing. From LA. She's, of course, originally from the Gold Coast, as she was saying earlier. But I just want to throw you out of the studio for a while, ladies, so we can feature this up-and-coming video of Jamie Lee Wilson, everybody.
Don't even have try, and you can make me cry. Don't even have to try, and you can make me cry. Cross my heart, hope to die, and you don't even know that I'm alive. Do-do-do-do-do-do, that I'm alive.
It's a little teaser for sure. I hope that wasn't too disjointed, but I'm having a little bit of lagging time here, and I think some of you ladies are too. So hopefully it's not too lagging for the audience out there. Please bear with us. I don't know. I've probably got a monkey hanging out there pulling my broadband down at the moment. There's something going on. But Jamie Lee Wilson, give me a little bit of background on that music clip that we just saw, and where you created it and where it all came from.
Okay, so was that You Don't Even Know That I'm Alive? Because I couldn't hear it at my end.
Yeah, it was. Yes,
It was gorgeous.
Okay. Thank you. I couldn't hear anything. So when I came back from LA to Australia, it was very, very sudden. My husband came home and said, I think they're about to close the borders and there'll be no flights to get back to Australia. And I said, oh, don't be ridiculous. It's not going to be that bad. And literally everything that he predicted happened. And we just had to make a really quick decision to come back to Australia, and like my apartment's still there, all our stuff's still there. And the day that we were flying out, we made the decision within a couple of days. We booked the for the Home of the Arts grants. They were doing some great Rage Against the Virus grants. So I applied. Right. Yeah, I applied and got a grant to do an album in hotel quarantine. So I collaborated remotely with LA-based film composer Lionel Cohen. And we, started the project in quarantine, and we've been releasing it single by single. And I think that was the 4th single. It's been a really rewarding and incredibly unexpected experience. We're shooting all the videos I'm shooting all the videos myself and shooting all the album covers because it was all in isolation. And
wow.
It's been intense. But it's been an amazing experience, and I'm so excited about the music. I've been releasing predominantly house and EDM and trance. So to do something that's so chilled and down tempo has been really enjoyable. So I've loved it.
And hence the name change. I mean, why did you do that? Because the genres were slightly different? Is that why you went down?
Originally, I was about to release a down-tempo project. This was a couple of years ago. And then I ended up releasing a house track with Dave or Day, and that went to #2 on the Billboard charts. And that was, which was amazing. And that was under the new alias. And so I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm just going to release everything under the new alias.
Under this.
Which wasn't originally the plan, but I thought, I'll just go with the flow. And so I just went with the new name, and everything is under that.
I love it. So it's I Am J with a V, which is meant to be an A upside down.
That's
MIE.com. I'm just putting that up for all the viewers right now. And I do apologize for those of you tuning in. We do have a little bit of lag time, but it's absolutely out of my control. Before we move on, I just want to play another little snippet from Jamie, of course. So this this next one, I hope it comes up a little quicker. It's called In the Deep End by Jamie Lee Wilson, which you can find at iamjamie.com.
In the deep end, in the deep end. In the deep end, in the deep end.
I hope I haven't muted myself.
Yeah.
Hear you or not. Well done, Jamie. I reckon that's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we did have a little bit of a break there, didn't we? This is the worst night ever. I've never had lag time. It's been always good. It's always good. It must be a sign that we all need to come back and talk again. I mean, that's the one great thing about women is that we've always got plenty to say.
That's right.
So my first question of the night is leading into what Tarita was saying earlier. Do you find, obviously, in business, you have to recreate yourself, Jules? Because I certainly know as an artist you do, and that's why I was just coming from Jamie to that, is that, you know, Jamie's reinvented herself quite a few times and tried so many different things, and I think that's where a lot of her successes come from, is that she just keeps going for what she loves and driving forward. And do you find that you have had to reinvent yourself in your PR business?
Absolutely. When I started, Handle Your Own PR, which was 12 years ago, nobody even thought about PR. I was explaining what it was, and I thought it would be a great idea that if I just gave everyone media contacts, they'd pay me heaps of money for it, and they'd go off and do their own PR. That's not how it worked out at all. But
because we're all too damn lazy, that's why, or all too busy,
or scared. There's a lot of people, in my experience anyway, that are really nervous about reaching. Maybe not so much in the arts industry, but certainly with a lot of the startups and people I work with, they're shitting themselves.
Yeah,
just about the idea
absolutely.
of speaking to journalists and having to talk themselves up.
Yeah, it's shithouse. I mean, no one likes to. I hate promoting myself. It was so.
But it's really easy. I remember working. I haven't actually been in the music industry, and I'm not an artist, unfortunately, other than a PR person. But I used to manage a band, and I hung around in bands in St Kilda in the 90s in a big way. And I always remember the publicists for the musicians, or a lot of them anyway, had $500 budgets. I just remember it so clearly and thinking, God, no one would do it for that. So that's why I actually priced Handle Your Own PR with artists in mind.
Well, and you sure did, because you budgeted it for artists and especially independent musicians out there. And
that's right.
That's why I love to have you on the show. That's why I wanted you on the show.
Thank you.
Because if we've got people out there that are listening tonight, you need to get in touch with Jules from Handle Your Own PR. She will not only teach you how to do it, but she can also take some of it over for you. She's well priced. She's passionate.
No, I don't do it for anyone. They have to do it themselves.
They have to do it all themselves. But you've got a lot of connections where you can link people.
I've got thousands of journalists that they can choose their own lists. And I've got, and it's cheap and easy, and it's a platform that people step through. But the other thing for me that's kind of happened, talking about making changes in your career, is that since COVID and the lockdown in March, I had this TV show, then I got a podcast all called She's the Boss. I've got a group, I do free Friday Zoom lunches with female founders, and it's all just grown, a Facebook group and whatever. So I've now got this fire in my belly that I am actually going to make a change and make it all happen. So I'm going to create a whole lot of media around women.
And that's what I love about She's the Boss. I mean, that's why I got in touch with you. And that's what also got me excited about what you do for other artists that I help and people I'm trying to connect. You don't necessarily have to be in the music industry. And everyone's sort of like, well, this is women in music. Yeah, but sometimes people who aren't in the music industry can also be the best help, because they've got that passion. They're not sort of, they're driven in a different way. They're driven in a corporate way. And I found for myself too, you know, having my corporate background and running my own event company and things like that, and a music school, obviously, you know, I pride myself on
right. You're
being
an entrepreneur yourself.
a little entrepreneur. I love business, and I find that, you know, if you can look at those sorts of people that are doing that, it doesn't have to be in the music industry. Sometimes they have more passion than those that are. So, you know, it's good to look outside the box.
You want the balance.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to move to Rita now, and just answering that question. Hopefully we don't have too much lag time. I'll just talk until she talks over the top of me.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Don't worry.
Oh, great.
Don't tell. Not going anywhere.
Go for it. So, you know, we're talking about women having to reinvent themselves in their careers, and, you know, you have had so many wonderful step-ups and changes, and you fingers in all the pies, which is what I love about you. It's very inspiring to watch. I've been actually an admirer from afar for a very long time, even before you sung with my father. I knew about you, obviously, but very much so.
No, I appreciate that. No, I suppose reinvention and being able to pivot quickly is something that I think just being an artist in Australia demands of us all. We just have to reinvent constantly. And I have to say that a lot of my reinvention has been caused along the way by choices in my personal life. So, you know, having children, or I became a single mom at one point, you know. So there have been things that have actually kind of been catalysts. And at the time I remember thinking, oh, this is the end of everything. And then, you know, it actually became probably the best thing I ever could have done. So, you know, even giving up my opera career was for me devastating at the time, but it was the right thing to do in the circumstances. So I always say to the people that I mentor, you know, never look back, look forward, and to the very best version of yourself, and keep working towards that. And, you know, opera is such a discipline. I mean, every genre of music is a discipline. But, you know, keeping your body in top shape and you know, constantly, you know, practicing and keeping your technique up, and, you know, it's a very cutthroat industry, as Jodie, you would know from your dad. And I think that, you know, to be able to do a bit of everything has really helped me maintain also really much better mental health, because opera is just it's a very tough industry. And if you can't devote 199% of your life to it, then you need to choose a different career.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Look, and I've got to back that up. I mean, I've had two little ones of my own. I'm a single mum, and I don't think I could have upheld an operatic career even before the two children. It is such a demanding career, and they say it's one of the hardest professions in the world. And it's just a different kind of discipline. I mean, every art form definitely has its own disciplines.
Yes, but absolutely.
Yeah, it takes such focus. Everything affects the voice. And I think in my world, in the cabaret, even classical crossover world, you can get away with it. You can you know, have a tantrum and a screaming match with your little 2-year-old in the bathroom and still walk out there and put on the face. You know, it's showbiz, but opera is. Yeah, I mean, my grandfather was quite a well-known tenor.
Well, he was Australia's greatest tenor, if I can just correct you there. He really was.
He really. Look, I'm very proud, of course. You know, wonderful. And I remember watching my grandfather and my father, and, you know, like, we weren't allowed to speak in the house. We weren't allowed to, you know, I'd sit by the door. I remember sitting at the bottom of the stairs just listening to them sing. And I think that's why I have so much knowledge around opera, but I haven't sung it all. Do you know what I mean? But you know the songs, you know the arias.
Yeah.
And you couldn't speak. You weren't allowed to, you know, things didn't run like a normal household. And maybe that was because why they were so great, my father and my grandfather. And but yes, I completely concur with you.
Yeah, often people say to me, "Oh, but what do you mean? Don't you just get fat and sing a lot really loud?" And I'm like, no. Can I just put that into perspective? You learn 5 languages, you sing for 4, 5, sometimes 6 hours at a time, off on a rake stage with a sometimes 5-kilogram costume. Often you can't see the conductor, so you're just guessing. I mean, God knows there are so many things that you have to do. It's like, actually, someone described it to me the other day as being a neurosurgeon of the music world. You know what I mean? Like the absolute precision of it.
So
is
much so.
just demanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Good word. Discipline and precision. I mean, it's not accepted by the operatic community or audience that there be a mistake.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I remember I studied in Rome years ago, and I went to the opera as this little kind of suburban Brisbane girl. I won a scholarship over there, and I was sitting at the opera, and all of a sudden fruit comes from behind me and lands on the stage because someone sang a wrong word in, I think it was Marriage of Figaro. And they knew, and they would throw fruit at the stage if someone got something wrong. That's how passionate they were. So, yeah.
Oh, holy shit.
Just gives you a little sense of perspective.
I hate to admit, I think some of us original artists have even forgotten the words to our own songs that we wrote. So, and we can get away with it,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know. Jamie Lee, do you have a horror story where you've forgotten your words at all? It's okay to admit it. I just embarrassed myself.
A friend of mine, Amy, she can recall this story. We were doing a show in a little town called Delacca, and we were on the back of a truck, and the whole town was there. It was the most fun gig ever, having an amazing night. And I was just about to sing, and I looked at Amy and went, words. And then I took a breath and then just sang whatever came to my mind, and I nailed it. But yeah, it was a scary moment where for a split second I was like, oh my God, what is the next line? So yes, I've had that happen many times.
I know. It's a terrible, gut-wrenching feeling. It's just, it's horrible. And if you don't mind me, I'm here, ladies. I'm definitely listening. It's just I'm trying for our viewers. I've been asked to put you on full screen. So some of our ladies get a bit funny when I do that. But hey, you look beautiful out there. You look beautiful. Yes, Michelle, you are up next. We're going to be talking all things on the couch out loud. She's a Gold Coast local artist and arts and creative supporter, and Michelle's been making big waves in the Gold Coast world here, and I came across her through someone else's live chat actually, and we just connected, and I just wanted to be able to spread her message a little bit more. So talk to us about how you've reinvented yourself, because of course you've all things to all men as well.
Yeah, I've rewritten my narrative really in my life, because I actually have a background in education, but I've always been a really big supporter of community creative arts, and I did a lot within that with youth and performing arts and a lot of other things, a lot of other local community events, but it just didn't really sit with me. It's not really, my passion didn't lie there, so that's why I created the Couch Out Loud, because I just saw a gap in the community that there needed to be, because I applied for so many professional development things, I applied for jobs, but they just weren't the right fit because there was nothing out there. So that's why I created that, because there is nothing like it. Obviously there are talk shows, but there's nothing like the Couch Out Loud that is really there to hear the backstory of the musicians and the artists, to hear about their struggles and their successes, so that we can make that connection with them, so then we can make more of a connection to their music, to their art, which then helps them sell their service, their product. That's really what it was about, to really show support, and what we as a community can we do to support them, because the live music scene on the Gold Coast anyway had a bit of a downfall in the 90s, and it hasn't really recovered. But I know that things have been put in place to start that up again, to support local artists and not always bring in outside people.
Yeah, definitely. And look, if there's any questions out there tonight from anyone who wanted to throw to our panel, please do put them up, because there's a lot of different perspective and wisdom to be had on this panel tonight from all different angles. And I think that's what's so awesome about having this chat every Wednesday night, is that we get this wealth of knowledge. Why not tap into it and connect with one another? And, you know, during these hard times, that's what it's all about. So I do encourage you all to follow some of our panelists there. I have been popping up their links throughout the comments. So, yeah, everyone should be up there by now, and I'll keep throwing them up as we go through. For those of you who've missed it, of course, we had the beautiful Jamie Lee Wilson's music videos on a little earlier in the show, but don't rewind yet. Make sure you stay with us. I'm going to cross across to back to Jamie here, because just tapping in on what Michelle was saying, I feel like the market, especially with COVID, you know, everything's really flooded. So what you're doing with the Couch Out Loud offers an independent artists, especially the ones coming up through the ranks, that backstory, which makes it so much more attainable quickly. You know, obviously you listen to their music and then you'll go Google them, find out some more information. But that's what I love about the couch on Loud. So what about you, Jamie? Do you feel like the market's flooded? Do you feel like you've been through it? So
I couldn't hear anything that was just said before, just so you know. But just to answer that question, but you guys looked great. Look, I think it's I mean, the market's always flooded, but I think there's so much access right now for people to find any genre of music or any artist that they want to listen to. They're all out there, so you can find anything that you're looking for at the moment. As an artist looking at it from that perspective, I mean, it's really about how you go about promoting yourself and what outcomes you want to come out of your release, I guess. It's always hard with independent music. I found it much easier going through labels, obviously. And that's been the whole challenge of this new project, has been, you know, doing everything ourselves. And I was speaking to another artist the other day. They were talking about the live stream thing, and that it's the market's really saturated at the moment with everyone doing a live stream. But I still think it's really important, because people really want to see you performing. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, Tarita, you can probably tap in here, because, I mean, you help so many up-and-coming opera singers and talent and offer that platform for them to perform live. Obviously, we can't do that at the moment, but what are you doing during COVID to, you know, keep them going?
It's been really hard, I have to say. And I sort of chose a couple of things to do. First of all, we do a monthly kind of check-in, a mental health check-in on all my artists that I'm currently working with, particularly Brisbane-based singers and Sydney-based singers. I check in on those girls, I should say, and
those ladies.
That's it. And then, look, we have thought about doing kind of, you know, an aria a day type thing. But as you say, the market is so saturated right now from an operatic perspective. And the thing is, it's so important to get the sound right with opera, or it just sounds terrible. I mean, I think it does for any genre, but particularly opera. And, you know, our audience are so discerning. So I've chosen to actually use the time to do some recording with the girls. We've been making some film clips, but I want to release all of that stuff that we've been doing when we make our next live performance. And so it's like this special thing. Oh, look, here we are, we're performing live. This is what we've been doing, rather than just keep saturating the market, because for me, it's overkill. And, you know, to be honest, so many of us are grappling with survival, if you really want to come down to it, and working out, right, how do we get through this? The online streaming was really not at the forefront of my mind. And the other thing that I've been trying to encourage the girls to do, and I will encourage actually everyone here, if you don't know about it, I'm the chairman of the classical board of the Australian Women in Music Awards, but it's open to all genres, and it's been held for the last 2 years in Brisbane. It's an incredible evening. It's held at the Brisbane Powerhouse. You can enter from any genre. There's all sorts of awards. I'd go on to womeninmusicawards.com.au and register for next year, which is 2021. It's an incredible night. We have the ceremony is amazing because, you know, we have had people, everyone from Renee Gayer to, oh, God knows who, Cheryl Barker to, I have to go back and look at all their names now. It's too long ago. But it's really worth finding out about it because it does what Jodie's doing in an evening with 500 other women. You know, I think there's probably a really lovely correlation there that you could link into, Jodie, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We have talked about it on previous panels, but we didn't, of course, get someone that was on the board, and I didn't realise you were on the board, which is wonderful. So now I can pick your brains for everyone that's listening out there. What are some of the guidelines, like what are some of the things that you have to obviously have released music within 2021? And
no, actually, well, look, what I will say is I'm the chairman of the board of the classical committee, so it's very different. So if you go to the website, and I'm also the ceremony director, so I put together the concert, but in conjunction with the lady Vicky Gordon, who's an extraordinary powerhouse of a woman who I would highly recommend you get on this podcast talking.
Love to.
She's incredible. I can't speak for the other genres, but I will say it's an incredible venture. It's only been running for 2 years, so it's still kind of finding its feet, but really worth getting behind.
Oh, absolutely.
Jodie's the person I was trying to remember the name of.
Jodie.
She was on the last in the last ceremony as well. So
great.
Yeah.
So the website for people who are listening is Australian Women Music Awards.com.au.
Yeah, Women in Music Awards they're called the AWMAs. We've nicknamed it, you know. So AWMA. There are awards for many genres, including things like best music photographer. So it's not just music. So it goes across a whole spectrum of different areas that are not normally recognised, which I believe is really important. You know, there was a recognition for the best female recording engineer. Yeah, so really go on and find all out about next year. I know a lot of the awards have changed next year, so definitely look at everything. It's really worth it, and it's a great night.
Which leads me to my next question. Women in music. I just wanted to create a platform for women and to connect us all. You especially during COVID, you feel so distant from people, and it's lovely for myself just to be able to tap in with amazing women like yourself and ask questions. And I hope I'm asking enough questions, audience, that you want to hear. So do post them online and we can answer them after the show. But let's talk about women in business, women in music, how many opportunities there are. And I know my father's listening tonight is going to tap in. He's already given me his opinion on this, so I'm so interested to know what yours is. But I mean, obviously you're in the opera world and the classical world, and how many opportunities are there for women in music? Is it male dominated? Let's talk about it. Let's go there.
Okay, so I wouldn't really describe myself as being in the opera world anymore. I think I've been in the corporate events sort of world where I deliver classical music and opera. I think probably 15 years ago I was very much in the thick of the opera world. However, to answer your question, yes,
because you would have gone
is
for 100%.
Oh yeah, there are always 30 women for one role, and there'll be 2 blokes going for a male role. And that's also it's like male ballet dancers and male opera singers. It's not it's not like kids say to their 5-year-old who's eating their Nutri-Grain in the morning, let's take you off to opera training. It's footy training, it's cricket training. You know what I mean? So it is a sort of an unusual pathway for a boy, but why should it be? That's where, you know, we have to encourage our boys to sing. It's super important on every level. And, you know, Australia has this incredible history of producing amazing voices, particularly Queensland. I think it's got a lot to do with the accent. Actually, we kind of, you know, we talk through our noses and it's really far forward like this, and then you get this amazing resonant. Exactly. And so, yes, it is tough. It is ridiculously tough for women. However, it's worth it if you love it, you know, and if you've got the talent.
Well, just on a lighter note, I run a music school, of course, in Logan to the Gold Coast, and I have probably close to 50-50 male-female vocalists
Fantastic.
that come and train.
That's so good.
So hopefully that's changing with the younger generation coming through.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You know,
encourage them to sing opera too.
we do get a few opera singers that come through. Obviously, I just go flick and hand those over to Dad because.
They're in good hands. Safe hands there.
They don't want me anyway. They want Dad. So yeah. But look, I want to go to Jules now and just, you know, panning back to Jules with the same sort of question, because how do you find in your world, is it more male dominated? Is it changing now? Is there more opportunity for women? Why can't I hear you? Hang on, Jules.
There we go.
There you are. Now we've got you.
I was going to say, I actually work mainly with small business owners and almost exclusively women. It's really weird. I don't do it on purpose, but I think 95% of my customers are women.
Wow.
And so I've just always loved helping people get their word out there. But listen, I've been listening to all the things that everyone's been saying, and I've got just a few suggestions if you'd like me to. Just in terms of, Jamie was saying that it's at the moment she's finding it really hard to promote herself because she's got to do it herself and from home. And then you were all talking about the market being really saturated and it's hard to stand out. So I just wanted to encourage you to think about going out to the media directly yourselves, because in the end, the journalists don't really want to talk to a PR. They want to talk to you, and this is your opportunity to build some relationships that will really help you later on. And they are so desperate for content at the moment. And so half the journalists have lost their jobs. So I'm not talking about just the music media. I'm talking about, look, I'm in Melbourne. It sounds like I might be the only one locked down here. But like going to the Daily Telegraph, going to the Herald Sun, go to Women's Day if you want to, like Women's Weekly. Go to media where you can start building a bit of profile out with your customers as opposed to within the industry. The other thing, and this is completely an aside, but I know a lot of people are live streaming, and you were talking about that as well. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, I don't know how many people are actually charging for it, but you really should be trying to make money out of this. I know you're trying to keep your profile going, but you also need to pay for your groceries. And if anybody doesn't know it, there's a great site called look, I call it Patreon. I don't know how you say it. Do you know that one, Joe?
Patreon. Patreon.
EON. And it is and it is set up for people to .com, I think. And it's set up for people to subscribe to you. People like your fans could be paying money for events and for you to perform for them.
Oh, right. Have you heard of that one, Jamie, at all?
I'm not on there, but yeah, Patreon, I think it is.
Patreon.
Yeah. I never quite know the right way to say it. Yeah.
I don't either. I'm always cautious when I say it out loud. I've heard really great things about it, but I haven't used it personally. But I think for live streaming, it's awesome. I think you can also charge on Facebook now for live streaming. Well, they were setting that up. I don't know if you definitely can.
And otherwise,
Twitch as well.
Yeah.
Twitch. Just give that one to me. Obviously, how you spell twitch.com, is it? Okay, cool.
I'm not sure. But Twitch is predominantly a gaming platform, but a lot of DJs have been doing streaming things. And then I was speaking to some other friends that are in more the traditional music world in LA, and they said that they are doing it as well. And I think another person can sort of refer their audience over to you when you perform as well.
Yeah, well, if you've got an electronic music, that's right into your customer base, basically. So why wouldn't you? And that's, I guess, what I'd encourage for everyone to be thinking about that. And the same with when Tarita was talking about the Australian Women in Music Awards, I was thinking that is a fantastic opportunity to get those stories out there about those performers, because the media is just so strapped for time and shedding staff everywhere, but and yet we're all stuck at home, for those of us in Melbourne and other places, but so we're consuming the media more than ever. They want that new content, so the difference is write the story for them. Pretend it's not you, pretend someone's writing about you, and write your story. And the other thing is give them a great photo. So if you're doing music videos or you're doing music photography, get that out to the media. They are desperate as well for photography, and journalists will tell me, if you give me a great shot and I want it in my magazine or newspaper, I'll make up the flipping story. I'll work with you to make it right.
Really?
So,
wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And
So
honestly, I'm not bullshitting. Like, a lot of people are doing this and I had somebody with a home cocktail kit on the front page of M Magazine last weekend, but that could easily be an artist.
Yes.
And don't forget that journalists love artists and they're horrified by what's happening. And the media I consume anyway, I think if you went to any of those journalists in the anything from The Guardian, I mean, all over the place, Age, whatever, and said, I've got a great story and it's about women in music, they would gobble it up, especially if you can give them some great shots.
Yeah, wow. And that'd be great for someone like you as well, Michelle, the Couch Out Loud, because obviously you've got a project there that's really community based. They're going to eat it up. But what does someone like Michelle and I do that we're absolutely time poor? I'm a shit house writer. I don't like writing about myself. Where do I go? Like, can you
know what you do? It's really simple. If it's a good story, the journalist will help you. So if I was Michelle, I'd ring the Courier Mail. I'd ask to speak to Q Weekend, and I'd go, guess what? I'm doing all this amazing stuff with women on the couch or with artists on the couch. It's a phenomenon. I'm growing a community. And they'll be like, tell us more. We'll send a photographer. Like, make a phone call at least. Don't assume that they won't be interested, because they will.
Yeah, I've actually had an article in a magazine before, like a front cover and not a centerfold. Just don't get excited, everyone. But it was in there. That's for a future one. I also had an article in the Gold Coast Bulletin about our love match couple that I matched.
Yeah, great.
On the love. And they met on the show. It was like an 80s dating game thing. They met on the show, a bachelor and 3 bachelorettes. So anyone who's watching The Bachelor tonight, get off it and watch this instead. And they married 1 year to the day they met on the show, which is really good.
Just brilliant.
So then they wrote a story about that. And I actually I think my thing is I have no problem approaching people at all. So I sent out a bit of a press release. It probably wasn't as good as the ones you do, and I went through and I researched through say the Gold Coast Bulletin and saw what kind of stories the journalists wrote about, and kept all the clippings and contacted them all. And because I also do a blog, and I was writing about how we can support our local creatives beyond this and what we can do now. But I didn't hear anything back. So
the other thing, Michelle, is don't think, like, I'd encourage all of you to think outside the square and also go to morning TV, because you think that'll be really hard, but so many PR companies have closed their doors at the moment, and so many companies are holding back, going, oh, we're not going to put anything out there in case we upset people. So the media is sitting there going, what do we do? They're making big stories out of nothing. COVID aside, once they're past that, they want good news stories. They want to know what's happened to people over the last few months, and they want to support artists. And they want to support women. So just go make those calls, and I reckon they'll take up the story for you.
Cool. That sounds good.
I'll stop ranting now.
Love it. I love it. No, it's great, because this is what it's all about. It's a platform for, people to get some advice, and just to have someone like you on here, Jules, offering that kind of advice is invaluable. I've been trying to chew your ear off for weeks now.
Listen, you've got your music school, you've got corporate events that Tarita was talking about. There are so many angles. You could go out and talk about how corporate events are going to happen now, which is actually they're all happening on Zoom, and you could easily be charging and offering to entertain teams on Zoom. So that's another one I'm throwing out there.
There's another angle. There's another angle. So
I'll bring my tambourine. I'll be in the background.
And a bottle of gin, and tell everyone to have one, and off you go.
Yes.
Party mad.
I'm excited.
Do you know what's so amazing about women is that we are just such go-getters and we're such supporters of one another. There's no ego, no bitch. It's just such a beautiful
that's what I
getting
think
together and connection. And I want to thank you ladies so much for coming on. You know, you've given of your time and you didn't have to. You could have, you know, gone and had a red wine, which you're probably having in the background anyway. But look, I really do appreciate it. And I want to just, before we leave everybody, if you do have a question, please post it up or you're going to miss these wonderful panelists and, you know, seeing them in the flesh. Make sure you're following, please, their links, which I'm bringing up one by one on the comments here. Go and find out about more of what these ladies doing, because they're movers and shakers in the industry. They're inspiring, they're making some change, and they're kicking forward through this COVID shit. So you know, my hat is off to you all. I really respect all of you. I've been admiring you all from a distance and couldn't wait to get you on. And I hope I can get you back. And if there's anyone out there that, you know, you think that you could help by having on the panel or giving advice to, I'm here. So definitely private message me. I'm very easy to be found. My mother named me Jodie-Joy, so it's like it's a very awkward name. But anyway, on another note, I just want to throw back to you ladies and just sort of say to you all, have you got a message? And if you don't have a message, can you tell me where you're going with yourself after this? Once we get through all of this, what's your next kind of fun project you're working on? And let's start with Michelle.
Oh, okay. My message is follow your passion. Just follow your passion for true happiness. And also, I have a few little projects that are coming up that I can't really discuss at the moment, but I will hopefully. Jodie, you kind of know one of them, possibly. That's all I have to say.
I don't know if they can hear me, but I've got to delay this end. But yeah. Again, there we are, Michelle. Sorry to leave you hanging like that. Definitely, yes. And so you've got quite a few projects, but we're keeping them under your hat because through experience, you're just kind of building at this point in time, aren't you?
Yes, yes. As you know, through experience, it's best not to get too excited about things and tell everyone about it.
Until
it gets taken. It gets taken.
In some cases, but I'm right behind you for Michelle. And for those of you who want to find Michelle, I'm just about to flick up her link, so stay with me. She is The Couch Out Loud. That is a tongue twister for me tonight. I don't know why. It has nothing to do with the red wine. Just kidding. The Couch Out Loud. Make sure you check out Michelle and what she's doing. A fantastic project. Watch this space. Watch the Couch Out Loud space, because she definitely has some amazing community projects coming up. And for all you aspiring artists, she's the one to watch. You want to get onto it for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Tarita, your message,
Okay.
and your next project.
Okay, so I would say be brave, don't be scared, reinvent yourself. And I can't talk about this project I've been working on, but I was working on a project for 4 years and I had this big break happen in the overseas, I can't say where, and it fell over, cancelled, and it was absolutely devastating. I've lost 2.5 years of work for the Seven Sopranos. Like, it's just been like decimation. Anyway, I've decided I'm going to reinvent everything, reinvent the wheel in a different way, and it's going to be great. And I just got to keep, staying on the track. But I will give you a really good news story. So many years ago, one of the first members of the Seven Sopranos was a wonderful young soprano called Clarissa Sparta, and I taught her for a while, and she slowly but surely reinvented herself into who she wanted to be. And just recently, I'm so proud of her, she went, "Oh, stop it. I'm at the age that I want to be singing on the stage of the Opera House." And she has sung there a few times in the past, but just never in the roles she wanted to sing, or it was either in chorus or a cover. And anyway, she went on The Voice, got to the top, I think eight singers in the 2020 Voice competition, and has been offered contracts based on that with the company that she wanted to work with, singing the roles she wanted to do. And I'm just so proud of her. And it's just a really great news story for someone who worked in the industry, slaved her guts out for years, and then just went, "Stuff it, I'm just going to do this," and did it.
Yeah.
And
she's an absolute inspiration to all young aspiring opera singers out there. There is a place for them, and and she had to go this way to get to where she wanted to go. But isn't that awesome? So awesome!
It is. I'm very proud of her.
I actually hired Clarissa for one of my events many moons ago, and she's just a beautiful woman, and she deserves all great things, and I'm so happy for her. So of course I knew the connection with you as well, Tarita. So isn't it nice? It's so nice to sit back and
so good. So good.
Yeah, really cool. And moving over to you, Jules, tell us a little bit about your message, and just tell me about your next project, please.
Okay, well, I don't think small. So my message to everyone is there is a time for a revolution for women, and I think it's now. And I think it's time for us to take advantage of all the disruption and everything that's happening with COVID and the planet and everything else, and just start making the changes that we've always been thinking of. I also think it's time to, as I think it was Michelle was saying, follow your passion and look for opportunities and take them when they come. And my big, hairy, audacious goal is that I want to reinvent the media and put the spotlight on women and women in business.
Oh, wow. Well, you've come to the right place. You've come to the right place. Hence why we have such a beautiful synergy between us all. It's been so lovely talking with you, ladies. And I want to finish up with Jamie Lee's music again, Jamie Lee Wilson. IamJamie.com. I want to end the show with this amazing artist who is an inspiration to us all. She started small on the Gold Coast. She's made it huge for herself. She's moved over to LA. She's built a beautiful life for herself. What's your message? What's your next project, Jamie?
I'd have to say yes. You never know where it might lead. And also there's no one right way. Just keep doing the next right thing. I think follow your passions a really strong message as well. And be kind, collaborate. If you're a songwriter, just write a lot, keep writing. Our next project, the Lionel singles, the Jamie and Lionel Cohen project. I've got singles that are coming out with that at the moment. And I've got an album that's coming out that's been delayed due to COVID on A-List Records, and that's coming out in October via Universal Music UK.
Oh, awesome. So for those of you who have just joined us, or you're cutting in at the end toward here, please go back, have a look at the comments. I have all of our panelists' information up there for you. If you missed some of Jamie Lee Wilson's music, we're about to close up tonight with that. I want to thank you all, ladies, for being on the panel so much. Have a wonderful evening. Don't go anywhere. Wait backstage for me. Hopefully I don't lag for too long in introducing Jamie Lee Wilson's new song that is out. Check out this lady. She is one hell of a go-getter. Very, very proud of her. She's a Gold Coaster, of course. We like to brag about our own. Jamie.com. Make sure you go and have a look at Jules Brookes' website. She's Handle Your Own PR, and of course the beautiful Tarita, the director from the 7 Sopranos. So much wisdom, so much awesome information tonight. If you have any questions for our panelists, please do put them up. And of course, finally, last but not least, of course, Michelle from The Couch Out Loud, doing wonderful things with the Gold Coast community and helping aspiring artists. I want to thank you for listening. Tune in next Wednesday, Women in Music, and we'll talk to you all soon.